Hello everybody, this is a short screencast to illustrate how you can access the workbook associated with the CoLab 3.5 from the Schult conference and give you some indication about how you might access the resources and utilise some of the activities that are contained within. Okay, so once you're in Pebble Plus, which is here, this may look slightly different on yours because obviously the image can be configured, but the tools etc. are exactly the same. So the place you would need to go to initially would be the Resource Centre. Now when you click on the Resource Centre, the place you will find your workbook is actually in the For Me section of the Resource Centre, but because I've created the workbook it actually lives in by me, but the principles I'm going to show you will be the same. So you'll go to the For Me tab in your Resource Centre. This is the workbook that you will find there, CoLab 3.5. If I single click on that there, I then click on News. And this will allow me to open the workbook and begin to look at the contents, but also to start and interact with some of the materials that are housed within. Okay, so this is the workbook itself. The first thing I would suggest you do is to actually save this asset, because once it's saved, if you then close it down, the place you will go to subsequently to work with the workbook and interact with it is actually in your asset store. And in here you'll find the workbook listed under records, or if you don't have too many assets, if you go to all assets it will be somewhere near the top. So this is the workbook here that I've copied. It's now in my asset store, so it's my copy, my version, and I'm able to start and utilize it. If I single click on there now, see, it brings up a whole range of functionality here. So if I single click and then click on View, that will take me into the workbook. Similarly, if you just double clicked on View, it would open the workbook for you. Okay, so this is the workbook that we're utilising for the CoLab, and I'll just quickly walk you through how this is set up and some of the content. So initially here we've got an introductory page which is setting the scenes and talks a little bit about how the workshop's going to run. There's a short screencast there that you can have a look at prior to the day if you like, to get a perspective on what the HWB philosophy and approach is to online distance learning. Anywhere you go in the workbook where you see an image, if you click on it, it either plays a resource, takes you to a resource, or to a forum where you can participate. Okay, so for example, if I just click on there now, that's a scary image there. We don't want to go there at all. So if I come back out of there, you'll see there's also an image below which is an infographic providing an overview of distance learning at SHU and how that has evolved. So obviously you can have a look at that at your leisure. Now if you've been interacting with your emails, the initial email that I sent to you was to outline some pre-CoLab activity that we'd like you to undertake, and I sent you links to 3 Padlets to address 3 questions. So here for example, what's the one key ingredient for success in online distance learning? So if you've been interacting with that via the link, that's great. You can also interact with it via the workbook, and again if you click on the image, takes you straight to the Padlet, and you can see there already some colleagues have started to post, which is great. So I'll just close that one down. Same principle for each of the other CoLab questions. Click on the image, it takes you to the Padlet, and you can start and contribute in terms of the pre-CoLab activities. These activities are designed to help start the conversation in terms of what are the challenges, what are the issues around online distance learning, and that will help frame the discussions that we have during the CoLab itself. If I go on to the next page, which is CoLab activity, key thing to draw your attention to here is that the CoLab is actually going to be videoed, so you do need to be aware of that. And what we will do is we'll subsequently embed the recording in your workbooks so you can view and review them at your leisure. Little bit on this page about how we're going to run the CoLab and also what we're trying to achieve at the end of it in terms of the feed forward. So that will be something for you to have a look at prior to the session if you do get the time. We also want the conversation to continue after the collab as well. Hence we've built in some post-collab activity here. And this takes the form of a conversations workspace. So again, if you click on the image, it takes you to the workspace for this particular collab. And here you can see we've got a conversation thread. So here, for example, if you wanted to contribute to this one, you would literally post a comment and you would be able to reply to that. Alternatively, if you wanted to start a conversation, you would click on create a conversation and follow the instructions there. So the idea is that the workspace associated with the conference is there to enable us to continue with the post-collab conversation. Hopefully have some ongoing dialogue around the issues that we've touched on during the collab. Okay, so if I come back into the workbook now, on the following page, this is where we'd like to capture some what we call quick and dirty feedback, in that this is a feature called Answer Garden, which is kind of a minimalistic feedback tool, and all we really need you to do is again click on the image, it takes you to Answer Garden, and once there you'll be invited to type your feedback in a word or a couple of words in terms of how the collab has gone from your perspective. So we would look forward to receiving some feedback from you on that one. What we also encourage you to do as part of the collab is to go away and reflect on what you've learned, what you've gained, what you've found out in terms of the collab itself. So this is where there are interactive elements within the workbook. So at this point here, at the moment what you're doing is you're actually looking, you're in view mode at the moment. Where you need to go here is click on edit, and then you'll see what happens is these interactive boxes come to life. So here, for example, there's a bit of a hint there in terms of describe what you've thought, done or experienced. So if I just type into here, I'm currently undertaking a screencast, and the idea is hopefully to try and illustrate that this is what you can do in terms of filling in the reflection. So you've got each of the text boxes there to complete your reflection on how things have gone. Okay, and then finally, just open up the page again. On the last page, all of the resources and information that's within the workbook is there for you to take away. So the idea is that all the feedback, recordings, input that you've had are all embedded in there. You can take them away, review, recycle, repurpose, and the workbook also provides tangible evidence of your CPD in terms of the way in which you've interacted and engaged with the collab and the workbook itself. But there are also some additional bonus features here that you can access via this page, and this is one example here, which is a presentation from a ShoeNet seminar that I participated in with colleagues Sue Beckingham, Julie Gillen and David Smith, and again if you click on the image it takes you to the resource. Okay, so hopefully that will give you a bit of a feel as to how you might utilise the workbook in the context of the collab for the conference. Thank you very much.